www.thegreatwhitebrotherhood.org.
Advanced Ancient Civilizations, and the Extinction Level Event. The story starts, about 50,000 years ago. There was, around the world, a society, far in advance than modern man today. It is strange that archaeologists, those who are willing to go out on a limb, and investigate the evidence of ancient technologies, note the similarity of the huge stone works that were constructed around the world, and find that surprising. However, if in the future, man's descendants were to examine the buildings that we have, they would notice similarities in the structures all over the world, so why should an advanced civilization in the past not also have used similar building techniques? There was a civilization, unimaginable to modern man, all over the planet Earth, with communication every bit as advanced, indeed, far more advanced than we have today. Much of the verbal communication was by telepathy, thus providing instant and accurate thought transference. There were also flying machines, that are described as vimanas, in Indian texts. However, man had also developed teleportation, which also provides instant transportation, between any 2 points. The vimanas were used mainly for transporting groups of people and material, whereas teleportation was used for individual movement. There were also individual vimanas that people used. It has been questioned, why stone was extensively used. Of course, many other materials were also used, but they have perished with time. Only the stone ruins remain. Stone was extensively used, as it is a natural product from the planet, and its harvesting does not harm the planet as much as the materials used today do. Now, using stone to construct structures, many of which were of extreme beauty, required the development of techniques for manipulating and forming it. So, just as in the excavation of stone for the building of the pyramids, robotic life forms were developed, to hew the rough blocks. These life forms were specifically developed machines, somewhat resembling a human, that had sufficient intelligence to carry out the orders of the human stone masons. Thus, the masons were free to design the required structures, but did not have to carry out the arduous tasks of hacking the required blocks from the bedrock. We repeat, using stone does not harm the planet, as, although the stone was removed from its original site, it still stays as stone, and will eventually return to make more stone. Modern techniques for building, using much oil and grinding and mixing different products, so deforms the original structures, as to render them unusable by the planet. The ancient people were very ecology-minded, understanding planet Earth as a living entity, and caring for her as far as was compatible with their requirements. This ancient people had also developed the simple technique of levitation, not only of stone, but of any object, using a harmonic vibration technique that provided a small degree of anti-gravity. We are tempted to describe this technique, which is surprisingly simple, but perhaps it will be better to let modern man develop it when it is time, as no doubt military factions will try to weaponize it. Next, we must discuss how the methods of forming the required shapes was achieved. Using a microwave technology, the stone was softened. Now, not all stone respond to microwave technology, but, happily, the harder the stone, the better is its reaction to microwaves. Thus, the hard stones of the granite family was generally used. Blocks of stone were softened to a putty-like consistency, and either shaped by hand, or pressed into molds, and allowed to harden. Then, using the above-mentioned levitation technology, the molded stone was lifted from the mold, and eventually transported to the construction sites. The human intervention was mainly cerebral in nature. The hard, physical labor being performed by the robotic entities, that were merely machines. Thus, objects and structures of great beauty, and of great utility, appeared all over the world. However, this was not to last. About 12,000 years ago, an extinction-level event struck the Earth, causing a planetary shift. Thus, many of the magnificent, palatial-type structures, were destroyed. Some are very deep under the mountains of mud, which has now transformed into earth. Others are now deep underwater, as, following the planetary shift, seas appeared, where, before there was dry land. Other buildings simply collapsed, with the violence of the Earth's shift. What remained was largely looted by the people that survived the extinction-level event, repopulated, and required building materials to construct their homes. The destroyed sites provided ready-made building materials for their homes. The quarries were abandoned. Many of the humans and robots were killed, and time has removed any trace of them. All that remains are partly excavated blocks of stone and finished constructions that were awaiting transportation to a building site. What is available for study by modern man is, of course, only a fraction of what was constructed, or what was in the process of construction. The extinction-level event, and the subsequent planet shift, transformed the planet Earth. Much of what was dry land at that time, and was populated with this advanced civilization, is now under new-formed seas, or under mountainous layers of mud, the remnants of the ensuing tsunamis. However, with time, excavations will uncover more evidence. The problem is, of course, modern archaeology, by and large, refuses to consider the possibility that this civilization once existed, and thus refuse to examine, intelligently, the evidence that remains.
Thank you for watching this video lesson. Please visit www.thegreatwhitebrotherhood.org for more lessons and free downloadable books.